In this video, I'm going to talk about the Dragon type and why it took a long while for it to become amazing in Pokemon history. This will be an analysis on the Dragon type, its Pokemon, their stats, best moves, and how they do in Gens 1 through 3 of Pokemon respectively. Since one Dragon type is a trait evolution, we won't cover it. So now that I explained what I'll cover, let's jump right into this analysis. Beginning the analysis, we have to cover the Dragon type once again, but this time in more depth. Dragon started off as, well, it wasn't much of a type when it was first introduced. Dragon resisted fire, water, grass, and electric while being weak to ice. This type was meant to be a powerful and mysterious type with lots of utility, but instead it was just a weaker normal type with good resistances to useful types, but a very bad weakness to ice in exchange. It wasn't until Generation 2 when Dragon finally had an offensive profile. Dragon was fierce against itself while not being strong against the new Steel type. While Dragon did finally get the same type damage output, it still didn't matter much due to Ice doing everything Dragon did but far better, which left Dragon to be a situational type until Generation 3 when the Dragon type gained many more species, improving the offensive utility of Dragon. Up next are the species of Dragon types from Gens 1 through 3, and while they're powerful, the first one didn't start off great. For Generations 1 and 2 in a row, the only obtainable Dragon that wasn't a trait evolution was Dragonite. Like I mentioned in an earlier video, Dragonite had great resistances for Generations 1 and 2, but had one horrible weakness from Ice. Dragonite also had a great moveset and amazing coverage, as well as finally getting some same type moves. Dragonite has 91 HP, a huge 134 attack, 95 defense, 100 special which would later become 100 special attack and special defense, as well as 80 speed, making it a great first Dragon type. In the Gen 1 remakes Fire Red and Leaf Green, Dragonite is largely unchanged yet having something new, the ability of Inner Focus. Moving onwards to Gen 3 proper, we finally get the best new Dragon types for the game, and while some aren't as powerful as Dragonite, they're still very impactful regardless. The earliest Dragon you can get in Hoenn is Altaria, one of the first Pokemon to gain the Dragon typing from evolving. Altaria is the same exact type Dragonite has, albeit with far less attack and special attack, also makes great use of the new Dragon Dance. Another thing Altaria gets is the new ability Natural Cure, letting Altaria's status cure upon switching out, and it's not limited to confusion healing from switching out either. Altaria has 75 HP, 70 attack, 90 defense, 70 special attack, 105 special defense, and 80 speed, making this a defensively strong Dragon Bird. Flygon is the first dragon to have a different typing in Ground Dragon, making it the first dragon to be immune to electric moves, but also being immune to ground thanks to the new ability Levitate. Flygon is also another Pokemon to gain the Dragon typing from evolution as well, but being far easier to train than Altaria. Even though Flygon isn't a flying type, it can still learn Fly. It's very helpful if you're wanting to make it to different towns, and it can help with much needed coverage. Flygon has 80 in every stat except for having 100 in attack and speed, making it a well-balanced yet powerful dragon bug. Salamence is the hardest dragon to get before the Elite Four, but the most worthwhile. One thing that helps Salamence a lot is the new ability Intimidate, reducing the target's attack by one stage. Might not sound amazing, but it'll help when facing physically strong opponents. While Salamence can't learn Dragon Dance from level up, it can get it via an egg move from a male Altaria and a female Bagon. Salamence has 95 HP, a scary 135 attack, 80 defense, 110 special attack, 80 special defense, and 100 speed, literally making Salamence a better version of Dragonite. Finally, we move onwards to the moves of the Dragon type, and while some can be weak, most are greatly powerful. Starting with the Dragon moves of Generations 1 and 2, we have Dragon Rage. It's the very first Dragon move to exist, but not doing type-based damage at all, only doing 40 HP in damage, which only makes it useful up until the 5th gym. Twister is the first Dragon move to do type-based damage, albeit with 40 power, 100 accuracy, and 20 power points, but its 20% chance to flinching the target can be rather helpful. Dragon Breath is the best and most accessible Dragon move for Generation 2 despite it having 60 power, 100 accuracy, and 20 power points. Though its 30% chance of paralyzing the target can be helpful. Outrage is the strongest Dragon move in Gen 2, but limited to the Dragonite line. It has 90 power, 100 accuracy, and 15 power points, and while it hits hard for 2 to 3 turns, it always confuses the user. Hidden Power Dragon is the hardest dragon move to get in Gen 2 and the most situational. It has 30 to 70 power, 100 accuracy, and 15 power points, making it an inferior alternative to ice moves of Gen 2. Up next we have the dragon moves of Gen 3, and while there's far fewer moves introduced here, they're the most viable dragon moves up to this point. Dragon Claw is the most coveted dragon move to get, and well worth the effort to get its TM. It has 80 power, 100 accuracy, and 15 power points, and despite it having no secondary effect, it's still very powerful. Dragon Dance is the first Dragon-type move to be status. It has 20 power points and boosts the user's attack and speed by 1 stage, making it a highly valuable move for any physical attacker. Finally, we make it to how each dragon type does in a typical playthrough, and it's a surprise to see how well each one does for their respective game challenges. One immediate thing to point out is that the only dragon type of Kanto won't have any reliable way to counter Brock in Gen 1 unless relying on an ally with different moves. Also, we won't cover how well each dragon would do against Lorelei, Price, or Glacia since all the dragons on the list are severely weak to ice, resulting in an auto loss. Starting in Gen 1, Dragonite will do best against Misty with Thunderbolt, Lieutenant Surge, Erika with Ice moves, Sabrina, Blaine with Water moves, Giovanni with Water or Ice moves, Bruno, Agatha's Golbat with Thunderbolt, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl with Thunderbolt, Lance's Dragons with Ice, and Blue's Pidgeot with Thunderbolt or Ice moves, Rhydon with Water or Ice moves, Alakazam, Exeggutor and Venusaur with Fire Blast or Ice moves, Gyarados and Blastoise with Thunderbolt, and Arcanine and Charizard with Water moves. As for Gen 2, Dragonite will do best against Bugsy with Dragon Rage, Whitney with Dragon Rage, Chuck's Poliwrath with Thunder, Jasmine with Fire Blast, Claire with Dragon moves, Koga's Bug types with Flying moves or Fire Blast, Crobat with Thunder, Bruno's Fighting types with Flying moves, Onix with Surf, Karen's Vileplume with Fire Blast, Houndoom with Surf, Lance's Gyarados with Thunder, Aerodactyl and Charizard with Water moves, Dragonites with Dragon moves, Erika, Janine's Bug types with Fire Blast, Lieutenant Surge's Magneton with Fire Blast, Misty with Electric moves, Brock with Surf, Blaine with Surf, Blue's Pidgeot with Electric moves, Rhydon with Surf, Arcanine with Surf, Exeggutor with Fire Blast, Gyarados with Electric moves, and Red's Venusaur with Fire Blast, Blastoise with Electric moves, and Charizard with Electric or Water moves. Moving onwards to Gen 3, Altaria will do best against Brawly, Flannery after gaining the Dragon type, Winona Swallow line, Entropius with Ice Beam, Skarmory with Flamethrower, Altaria with Dragon Breath or Ice Beam, Titaniza's Claydol with Ice Beam, Rock types with Steel Wing, Sydney's Grass types, Drake, Wallace's Tentacruel with Earthquake, Ludicolo, Rivals Tropius, Grovyle, Combuskin and Ludicolo, and Steven's Skarmory and Metagross with Flamethrower, Aggron with Earthquake, Armaldo with Steel Wing, Credilli and Claydol with Ice Beam. Flygon will do best against Roxanne, Watson, Flannery, Winona, Skarmory, and Tropius with Flamethrower or Fly, Altaria with Dragon Breath, Titaniza with Crunch, Lunatone and Solrock with Giga Drain, Juan's Wishcash with Giga Drain, Sydney's Crawdaunt with Giga Drain, Grass types with Flamethrower or Fly, Phoebe with Crunch, Drake, Wallace's Tentacruel with Earthquake, Ludicolo with Fly, Rivals Tropius and Grovyle with Flamethrower or Fly, Ludicolo with Fly, Marshtomp with Giga Drain, Combuskin with Ground moves, Team Aqua's Water types with Giga Drain, Team Magma's Fire types with Ground moves, and Steven's Skarmory and Metagross with Flamethrower, Aggron with Earthquake, Claydol with Giga Drain or Crunch. Salamence will do best against Roxanne, Watson, Flannery, Winona's Tropius and Skarmory with Fire moves, Altaria with Dragon Breath, Titaniza with Bite, Sydney with Brick Break, Grass types with Fire or Flying moves, Fuibe with Dark moves, Drake, Wallace's Tentacruel with Earthquake, Ludicolo with Flying moves, Rivals Tropius and Grovyle with Fire or Flying moves, Ludicolo with Flying moves, and Steven's Skarmory and Metagross with Fire moves, Aggron with Brick Break or Earthquake, and Claydol with Dark moves. If you're wondering why I haven't covered Rayquaza as a Dragon type for this analysis, it's literally everything Salamence is except slightly slower and a lot stronger. Not only that, but you get it at level 70 in Emerald version, meaning it'll sweep everything in the Elite Four, making any semblance of challenge null and void. Not only that, but Rayquaza will have the same exact matchup Salamence has, so it would be a little bit redundant. Therefore, I won't do an analysis for Rayquaza due to how it'll break the game with its sheer skill. In conclusion, the Dragon type in Gen 1 was only a defensive type, having great resistances to 4 powerful types within the game. However, when the type changes of Gen 2 happened, Dragon finally gained type-based moves and proved to have potential as a hyper-offense type. While Dragonite proved to be strong in Gens 1 and 2, it was only due to having special attacks. Altaria was similar to Dragonite, but nowhere near as strong thanks to its middling offenses. The Pokemon that carried the Dragon type to prominence were Flygon and Salamence. Flygon had a type combo that was never seen before, yet still had amazing synergy. Salamence is the best readily available Dragon type in all of Gen 3, having great attack and special attack along with superb coverage. Though it'll only get better for Dragon moving forward, as we'll see the physical special split give existing Dragons some much needed physical moves. Physical Dragon Claw and Physical Outrage are a handful of moves that'll benefit Dragon moving forward, and I'll later cover how Dragons change move into the modern games. Hey look, that's all I got for now. If you enjoyed my analysis on the Dragon types in Gens 1 through 3, please give a like or comment telling me what you enjoyed the most about this video. Until next time, have a good day.